राधा माधव तुझ बिहारी Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivar Dhari Yashodanandana Braj Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravana Chari Yashodanandana Yamuna Tiravana Chari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivar Dhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravana Chari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jaya Gandharvika Giridhari, Gandharvika Giridhari, Gandharvika Giridhari, Gaura Hari. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Srila Prabhupada. युग धर्म हरिनाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की श्रीमद् भागवत महापुराण की श्रील प्रभुपाद की ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्य उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. Hare Krishna, welcome everybody to the Sunday Feast program in ISKCON ACS Layout Bhakti Center. Very, very happy to be here after quite some time. Been born and brought up in this center, but now I've been given services a little bit outside this center. So I miss, although I don't see my old friends and old faces, but some of you I'm able to see. I'm able to see some of my seniors. Actually, all of us connected to ISKCON Whitefield would earlier gather here, but due to expansion activities, they have got divided amongst various centers. So a lot of nostalgic feeling. So I was asking, I was very happy that my name came up in the schedule. I thanked His Grace Vijay Narasimha Prabhu. And then I asked him, what is the topic? He said, whatever you want. So I have taken the liberty. I checked what was the discussion last week. So Brahma Vimohan Leela was discussed. So Brahma Vimohan Leela has a speciality that when this whole Brahma Vimohan pastime had happened, it was happening on Lord Balram's birthday. Lord Balram was not there for that pastime. He didn't know many of the things happening. So I thought I will today discuss another pastime of Krishna, which gives us so many lessons, which happened next year on the birthday of Lord Balram, that is Kaliya Leela. How many of you would like to hear Kaliya Leela? It's one of my personal favorites because there is so many lessons which can be derived for myself. And also it has a lot of action. Somewhere ago I had, I think in another center I was scheduled to give a class on the birth of Lord Krishna. So that chapter is like first 10 verses description of the birth, next 30 verses prayers by Mother Devaki, Vasudev, another 30 verses prayer by Devaki, and last 10 verses Krishna is telling, take me to Gokula. So when a lot of prayers come in, it's very philosophical, it's very nice, but for less intelligent devotees like me, or practicing devotees like me, we need some action. So I thought Kaliya Leela is a good mixture of action and prayers and philosophy and everything all combined together. So all the demons who come in Krishna Leela, they represent an anartha. So when we discuss these demons in Krishna Leela as a subject matter, we should discuss it in a mood to glorify Lord Krishna and at the same time understand that anartha and how we can eradicate that anartha. There are two kinds of demons in Krishna Leela. One kind of demons which are killed by Krishna and another kind which are killed by Balram. Balram represents the Guru Tattva. The demons which are killed by Balram, the significance is that one has to struggle on their own and work very, very hard, sincerely, seriously, relentlessly to get rid of those demoniac anarthas from the core of their heart, taking shelter of Guru. However, demons which are removed or killed by Krishna in Krishna Leela, there is no hope for us other than taking shelter of Krishna, because we can't do anything against those demoniac propensities. So only and until unless we become seriously humble and helpless in front of Krishna and cry in front of Krishna and pray in front of Krishna that help me to get rid of this anartha, it's not possible. So luckily Kaliya happens in that category. So we'll be studying about that. The flow of the discussion will be, first we will understand the pretext, what's happening in this chapter. Then we'll cover a little bit history of the Kaliya. In Bhagavatam that happens to be the next chapter, but we'll take it before. Just so that we are attentive, I'll tell the Falashruti of this Kaliya Leela so that throughout the discussion people are attentive. मेरे को कुछ मिलने वाला है. And after that we'll discuss the whole Kaliya pastime, followed by the lessons derived from it and the anartha which Kaliya represents and how we can get rid of it. Srila Prabhupada has written many letters in relation to that anartha. We'll read few letters of Srila Prabhupada and then we will conclude this discussion. Before I start this discussion, I would like to take shelter of all my teachers, mentors, superiors, seniors, friends sitting here. Take shelter of the acharyas by chanting some pranam mantras. I hope and I pray that this discussion may give them some iota of happiness, and this entire attempt is only meant for pleasing them. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद. हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने. नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे. मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपा तमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानंद माधवं श्री चैतन्य ईश्वरं. हरिः ओम तत्सत्. Hare Krishna. Kaliya Leela, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10. And for the information of all, this is chapter number 16 and 17, which we are going to briefly cover together today. Kaliya Leela has a special significance because some of the pastimes of Krishna need to happen without the interference of Lord Balram or without the presence of Lord Balram, because Krishna really likes to do some things which the protective Supreme Personality of Godhead Lord Balram wouldn't allow in general. For example, one of the other pastimes of Krishna which he did in the absence of Lord Balram is this Damodar Leela. One day before he goes to Lord Balram and he says that, see, tomorrow you need to go to Upananda's house and take Mother Rohini also with you. And then I have some business here. I need not discuss everything with you. So Lord Balram, being the simple, sincere elder brother, he takes his mother and goes. And here Krishna bakes havoc. He breaks the pot and wakes up early, breaks the pot, and then feeds the monkeys, runs out, gets tied, breaks the Yamalarjuna trees. And when all the action is over, then Balram comes to know, and then he comes trying to save Krishna, but is unable to do so. Similarly, Kaliya Leela is one of them. Lord Krishna did not want Balram to take part in Kaliya Leela. Some of the obvious reasons are Kaliya belongs to the serpent species, and Lord Balram in one of his incarnations is Anant Shesh. So if Kaliya would have seen Anant Shesh standing in front of him, this Kaliya Leela only wouldn't have happened. He would have directly surrendered to Lord Balram and game over. Another possibility which could have happened was when Krishna would have been doing the dance of surrender on the heads of Kaliya. Balram would have been saying that, please leave him. He's one of my associates. Don't punish him so much. Things like that. Or Balram would have gotten angry when, for quite a good amount of time, Krishna laid in the wraps of Kaliya. Imagine those who are sitting with your children. Imagine your child wrapped in the coils of a snake in a river. How will you feel? It's a very terrible feeling. So Krishna, at least for more than one muhurta, was there in the banks or in the Yamuna lake, in the lake of Yamuna, tied in the wraps of Kaliya. He did this just to intensify the love and devotion with the Vrajavasis had. That was the one of the primary reasons why he did this Kaliya Leela. So Krishna was afraid that if Balram would see all this happening, he would come and rip Kaliya apart. So then this whole idea of intensifying the love and devotion and the mood of separation of Vrajavasis wouldn't have happened. Another reason why Krishna did this Kaliya Leela, because he wanted to show off a little bit to the young damsels of Vrindavan. Now that age has started, 6 years old he is now. And he really wants to show off to the young damsels of Vrindavan. So all this wouldn't have happened if Balram would have been in the picture. So on the birthday of Balram, when Balram has been retained back by his mother for some extra feeding and extra decoration, Krishna does this Kaliya pastime. There is a very nice Falashruti of Kaliya Leela. Kaliya basically represents the anartha which Kaliya represents is enviousness, crooked mentality, fault-finding nature, deceitfulness, all this together combined in the association of devotees. This is the anartha which Kaliya represents. So one of the Falashrutis of this Kaliya pastime is that anybody who sincerely and seriously hears this Kaliya pastime with love and devotion towards Lord Krishna, with full faith in the dealings and the pastimes of Lord Krishna, will get rid of enviousness, fault-finding, deceitfulness, and wretched territorial mentality which Kaliya had. Another Falashruti of this Kaliya pastime is one will never be attacked by any kind of snakes, especially those who are serving in Ajigundanelli center. In fact, I will highlight there is a verse here. I know it from my personal knowledge that those practitioners of this art who know the art of healing by reciting some mantras, snake charmers, they are personally reciting this Bhagavatam shloka. Whenever they hear, they have done some sadhana of this Bhagavatam shloka, just like we do sadhana of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram. So there is some sadhana of this Bhagavatam shloka, which is coming in this chapter. And when you recite it, then you get the strength to remove the poison from someone who has been bitten by a snake. Another Falashruti of this Kaliya Leela is that if you have any Kala Sarpa dosh, that also gets removed by hearing this Kaliya pastime very faithfully. Another falashruti of this is, just like Kaliya became fearless after this entire Kaliya pastime, a devotee becomes fearless in the execution of devotional service by hearing this Kaliya Leela sincerely and seriously. So now that the falashruti is clear, and hope we will all be a little attentive in the discussion. So with the permission of everybody, I would like to start. So it all starts with, in the absence of Balram, on the birthday of Balram, Krishna has come out with his friends, cowherds, the cows and the calves. Point to be noted, Krishna is no longer a Vatsapal. He has upgraded, or he has become senior. He's taking care of cows also. He has become a Gopal. And he has come with the cows and the friends, and then they come near that lake of Kaliya Lake. In the Bhagavatam, there is a description how wide this lake is. Yojanas, 8 yojanas wide, if I'm not, 1 yojana wide. That means 8 miles wide it is. And the depth of Kaliya Lake cannot be, it is called as Agadha in Srimad Bhagavatam. That means it is unfathomable. The description of this Kaliya Lake is, the serpent Kaliya, along with his family members, has been residing in this lake from many, many yugas. So now the degree of poison content, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes that the color of that lake was yellowish red in color because of the poison content. The poison content was so much that fumes of poison were flowing above and all around the Kaliya Lake. If a bird would try to fly over it, the bird will fall down in the lake. Even demigods were unable to cross over it. That much was the degree of poison in it. Any blade of grass, if it by mistake also fell into the water, instantaneous combustion used to happen. It just used to get fried up. So much so that for some snakes, it was not possible to handle that amount of poison. So they used to make holes, some relatives of Kaliya, they used to make holes on the banks of this lake and stay there. 1 yojana was the width of the lake, and for 1 yojana around, that means 8 miles around, the entire area was uninhabitable and most unpleasant because of the presence of this lake. That was the degree of poison which was infested in this lake. Point to be noted that this lake was not a part of that Yamuna which is flowing. If this poisonous water would have flowed into the current of Yamuna, then Krishna had no reason to go to Mathura to kill Kamsa. Kamsa would have died by drinking that poisonous water. So this was a little bit segregated lake which was away from the flow of Yamuna. That lake was called as Kaliya Hrida, or Kaliya's lake. In the vicinity of that Kaliya lake, all the plants, creepers, everything was fully dead. There was nothing there except 1 Kadamba tree, which was also almost dead. Now, all of you must be thinking, how did the lake become so polluted? And why did Krishna take action? I have said that we have understood that Kaliya has been residing there from many, many yugas. Why is Krishna taking action now? Let him remain peacefully. Jio or Jinedo. The thing which happened was, somehow towards the outskirts of that area, some cows meandered, and some of the cowherd boys, they also came. And they occasionally happened to drink that water, which was not the central core of poison, but remnants. And because of that, they became completely unconscious. Some of the cows, they became unconscious. Some of the boys, they became unconscious. Now, Krishna, he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Just by his will, he can bring back anybody to life. But to give some extra mercy to those boys and cows who had fainted, become unconscious, Krishna glanced at them. The Bhagavatam says that Krishna showered his nectarian glance at them, and they came back to life. And then Krishna decided, enough is enough. Kaliya has affected my friends. Who can, there's no one who hurts my friends. So at that time, Krishna climbs up a Kadamba tree, stands on the Kadamba tree, tightens his belt, on the dhoti. In the earlier times, the dhoti was not simply worn, just like we wear simply a dhoti. Above the dhoti, another belt was supposed to be worn, another kind of cloth, as you see in the photo also. The dhoti is there, and another pink cloth also is tied. So Krishna tightened his belt, he tied his hair, he slapped his arms and thighs. He was 6 years old, and then he jumped into the lake of Kaliya. Pause. We'll go rewind. What happened in this lake in the previous yugas. Please hold on at this point. Krishna has jumped, okay? Don't go forward. Many, many yugas ago, in the time of Swayambhuva Manu, on the hills of Vindhyachal mountains, there was a very great sage who was a sincere devotee of Lord Krishna. His name was Vedashira Muni. He was exhibiting various austerities. Yadrichaya, by the will of the Supreme Lord, another sage called Ashvashira Muni, he came to do austerities there. Now, even when we do various austerities, false ego is the last thing which leaves us in spiritual life. It is very, very difficult to get rid of false ego. Vedashir Muni became a little disturbed that this is my ashram. Why is someone else coming and doing austerities here? When there is so much more place, why can't he go elsewhere? So Vedashir Muni became a little bit angry and said to Ashvashir Muni, "Oh, best amongst the sages." In the previous yugas, even if people had to scold or criticize, they used to speak such nice language like they speak in Lucknow. Even if they have to beat you up, they'll say, "Yeah, you will not realize that you are beaten up, but they've beaten you up." So, so in that line, "Oh, best amongst the sages, oh tapodhane, oh that sage whose wealth is tapasya, why have you come to my ashram and doing tapasya? Why can't you go elsewhere?" And Ashvashir Muni became angry. "How dare you say this to me? This whole world, this whole ashram, this whole mountains belong to Lord Krishna. Why can't I do austerity here? Have there not been other sages who have done austerity here? And you, instead of following Atithya Dharma, you are hissing like a snake and asking me to go away from here. May you become a snake. And may you always be terrified by Garuda." Vedashir Muni is telling, just for a small thing, you became so angry, so revengeful, that you plotted a curse against me. You acted like a crow. May you become a crow. And then the best leader in the whole creation, Lord Krishna, he appeared at that scenario. Whenever there is some cooperation, miscooperation between the devotees, Lord Krishna comes and solves this problem. Lord Vishnu comes there. One of the specialities of Lord Krishna is that he never gives up on his devotees, even in the worst possible situations. See, Durvasa Muni had offended Amrish Maharaj to such a great extent. But still, Lord Krishna helped him. He gave him the solution that you go and fall at the feet of Durvasa Muni. So this is a great quality of a leader, that he never gives up upon his team or upon his people, even in the worst of situations. There is no reason or there is no sin or mistake which you can do due to which Krishna will give up upon you. Of course, one should not take advantage of that also. Krishna's love for us is unmotivated, uninterrupted, unfathomably large, basically. Unconditional. His love is unconditional, basically. That's the word. So Krishna appeared there and he said, "My dear Vedashira Muni and Ashvashira Muni, you are both like my two arms. You have both ended up cursing, counter-cursing each other, and you have got into such a embarrassing situation. You're both of you, your spiritual lives are at stake now, but I will help you. My dear Vedashira Muni, you have been cursed to become a snake. Don't worry. I will personally come to you. You will not call me. I will personally come to you. And I will personally leave the footprints of my leg on your hoods so that you will not be tormented by Garuda. And I will personally give you shelter and protection. I will take care of you. I will love you. Like that he says. Now Ashwashira Muni is thinking, of mera kya hoga? So Krishna says, don't worry, Ashwashira. You have been cursed to become a crow. You will become a crow who will be famous for his lamp-like clarity on scriptures. You will be known as Kak Bhushundi. You will recite, you will be a great devotee of mine when I will appear as Lord Ram, and you will recite Ramayana to Garuda, and you will be the original teacher of Ramayana. So this Kak Bhushundi comes to play in Ram Leela also when Lord Ram was a small child, and Garuda understands Ramayana from Kak Bhushundi. So Kak Bhushundi was Ashwashira Muni. Forward some more Manvantras. From Swayambhuva Manu Manvantara, come down to Chakshusha Manu Manvantara. There, Kashyapa Muni has a wife called Kadru. And she gives the leader of all the serpents, Anant Shesh, is also appearing from her. Vasuki is also appearing from her. And a very, very special personality also appears from her, whose name is Kaliya. Kaliya always used to think that my elder brother Garuda, ऐसा उसमें क्या है जो मुझ में नहीं है? He grew up in a shadow of a hero called Garuda, and he always had this inferiority complex. And later on, when Lord Vishnu chose Garuda as his Vahan, he became. Earlier, Kaliya was also actually Kaliya was also and will also remain a devotee of Lord Vishnu. But he did not like that why Garuda was chosen. You know? I can also, the Bhagavatam says that I can also, coming to the last verse of this chapter, where Kaliya is addressing Krishna as Garuda Dhwaja. And in the purport, the disciples of Srila Prabhupada, they are highlighting that the reason why Kaliya called Krishna as Garuda Dhwaja, because he wanted to tell that you take service only from Garuda. I'm also his brother. I can also travel millions of yojanas with the blink of an eye. Why don't you engage me in your service? So deep is each verse. When Kaliya is calling someone Garuda Dhwaja, this is what he means. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is commenting in that verse that in a future pastime of Krishna or in a future kalpa of Brahma, Krishna, when called upon by Kamsa to Mathura, will ride on Kaliya and go to Mathura. So Krishna's pastimes are more unconceivable than we can possibly imagine. Now coming back to Garuda feeling inferiority complex. So then that pastime comes where Anant Shesha is called by Lord Krishna, and he says that why don't you carry the Bhumandala? Anant Shesha asks for how long I should carry. Then Krishna tells him that okay, you just go on reciting my glories. When my glories end, then you can put down the Bhumandala. And Anant Shesha understands, smiles, and then he asks another question. Okay, I will carry the Bhumandala, but who will carry me? So Krishna says, I will become Kachapa and I will hold you. So that's our universal create structure, 5th canto. And then all the serpents, they get divided in various lokas. Some go to Atal Lok, Vital Lok, Patal Lok. Kaliya goes to a place called Ramanaka Islands, which is presently known as Mount Fiji, not Mount, but Fiji Islands. However, Garuda had this propensity, just like every living entity has been given their quota to eat something. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prayachati tad aham bhaktya uprahitam ashnami prayata. Human beings have been given the quota of leaf, flower, fruit and water. Is it correct? Wrong. Human beings have been given the quota of leaf, flowers, fruit and water offered with love and devotion to Krishna. Without love and devotion, leaf, flower, fruit, and water also cannot be consumed by human beings. Therefore, the word bhaktya comes twice in this verse. Yo me bhaktya pratyati, tad aham bhaktya uparitam. 2 times Krishna is specifying. So just like human beings have a quota of leaf, flower, fruit, and water, that is food in the mode of goodness offered with love and devotion to Krishna. Similarly, Garuda also has his quota. His quota contains snakes, fishes, and Krishna Mahaprasad also. So occasionally, Garuda would go to Nagloka and various other places and eat some snakes. That is his Mahaprasad, sanctioned by Lord Vishnu. Snakes became disturbed. Vasuki, the head of snakes at that time, he went to Lord Brahma to do a settlement. Actually, this pastime was told to me by one of my Marathi friends. He was telling that Vasuki went to Brahma to do Mandvali or some settlement. I'm not sure what the word Mandvali means, but I am thinking it is some kind of settlement. So Brahma called Garuda and he said that you please don't disturb, come into a truce. So the truce was that on every Purnima day, every snake taking turns from their house, they have to offer Krishna Prasad to Garuda. Garuda will come, there is a very great banyan tree. Under the banyan tree, this Prasad will be kept. Garuda will come and honor it and he will not disturb anybody. Kaliya didn't like this agreement. He said, what is so, aisa kya hai Garuda mein jo mere mein nahi hai? Why we should offer him so much? So Kaliya, what he started doing, when other snakes, serpents, Vasuki and others, when they were offering things to Garuda, Kaliya used to go and eat that. Garuda thought, okay, he's my brother, let him eat. Once he ate, twice he ate. But for thousands of years, Kaliya was eating. One day, Garuda, he thought enough is enough. I have to teach him a lesson. So he came flying, swooping with great speed. Garuda is called as Suparna. Suparna means one who has very beautiful wings, golden wings. When Garuda flaps his wings, the hymns of Samveda are heard. The Vedic literature is heard. So Garuda came with great speed, and then with that speed, he hit Kaliya very badly. And then Kaliya has 1000 hoods, 100 major, 900 minor. With all those 1000 hoods, he threw poison in the air and he wrapped the legs of Garuda and continued biting again and again, but Garuda was unaffected. He dragged him, beating from one mountain to another mountain, and then he kicked him so hard, beat him so hard, that with each kick, Kaliya used to go 200 yards away, 300 yards away, like that. Ultimately, he realized that I am no match to Garuda and started running away. He went to all the planetary systems, but wherever he went, Kaliya, he saw Garuda is chasing him. Ultimately, he realized that I have to take shelter of my elder brother, whose name is Anantashesh. So he goes down below the Patal Loka also to meet Anantashesh, and Anantashesh says, what have you done? Who asked you to take this kind of austerity of eating the prasad of Garuda? There is certainly no place where you can stay. However, since you are my brother, I will give you one place. He said that there is a lake in Yamuna where a great sage called Saubhari was doing tapasya. And then another history comes. So this great sage Saubhari, for 10,000 years he was doing meditation. Occasionally Garuda would come and take some fishes from that lake and eat. These fishes, they took shelter of Saubhari Muni. Humko bacha lo. What is this? Garuda can come and eat any one of us. So Saubhari Muni told Garuda, my dear Garuda, you please don't come here. Srila Prabhupada explains in a lecture that this is a Vaishnava aparadh. A junior devotee cannot instruct a senior devotee what to do, what not to do. Garuda is a Vaikunthavasi and also a demigod counterpart. Who is Saubhari Muni? He is practicing Krishna consciousness and he's in no position to instruct Garuda what to do, what not to do. But he ends up doing that, and Garuda does not ignore his instructions. Instead of taking 5,000 fishes, after listening to Saubhari Muni, he just takes the king of fishes from there and goes away. So at that time, Saubhari Muni becomes very agitated and curses Garuda. The next time if you come on this lake to eat fish, you will die. Now Garuda is immortal, but still, in order to respect the words of a devotee, he never comes to that lake again. However, what happens to Saubhari Muni? He insulted and offended a senior devotee to protect some juniors who took his shelter. This is the problem of taking association of juniors, They gratify your false ego. And sometimes they can, put the incest in your heart to go against your seniors also. Therefore, the simple principle is that one should take only 20% association of their juniors, 20% association of seniors, but 60% time you should be with your peers who can really give you some feedback and who can chastise you, who know you inside out, and who can give you some good treatment actually. So because Saubhari Muni was not taking shelter of other sages and he was spending only time with those fishes who were gratifying his false ego, ultimately he saw two fishes mating. He insulted a senior devotee to protect the fishes, and those fishes only became the cause of his fall down. And then he gave up his practice of Krishna consciousness, came out, met Mandhata, the king, married all his 50 daughters in one shot, and then started living a life of complete sense gratification, which was against the rules and regulations of Grihastha Ashram also. And then he completely gave up Krishna consciousness. Of course, this was not a permanent loss for him. The Bhagavatam says that again he repented, and again Krishna, being the best leader and the best friend, took care of him, and he also went back to Godhead. However, this is the Vaishnava Aparadha which is described. And what happened to the fishes who misled another devotee to go against another devotee? Kaliya later came in that lake, and they all died because of the poison of Kaliya. So wherever Vaishnava Aparadha happens, in Chaitanya Leela also we see various instances. Wherever Vaishnava Aparadha happens, the entire place becomes uninhabitable. Therefore, we should walk into the footsteps of Raghunath Das Goswami. He would never hear any criticism, any critical appeal against any Vaishnava. He would always consider one thing, that everybody is engaged in the service of Krishna. So therefore, everybody is worshipable for me. Even if some Vaishnava has some fault, still he is engaged. Completely, incompletely, partially, wholly, somehow or the other, he or she is engaged in the service of Krishna. So therefore, I should not hear any criticism. That was the standard which Raghunath Das Goswami set. And it is very, very safe to follow that standard. So this is the lesson which we learn from this pastime. So Kaliya had to take shelter of that lake under the instruction of Anant Shesh. And because Anant Shesh asked him to stay there, so when Krishna had to remove him from there, he kept Anant Shesh, that is Balram, out of this pastime. Now you are able to link everything. Fast forward to the point where Krishna is standing on the tree, tying his hair, tightening his belt and jumping into the lake. Many, many yugas we have fast forwarded. That tree was the only tree which survived the poison of Kaliya. Because Garuda knew that Lord Krishna will perform some pastimes using this tree. So he dropped some nectar on it. However, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments that nectar was also not sufficient enough. It is the tapasya which that tree did under the knowledge that one day I will be used in Krishna's service. That tapasya helped him to withstand the greatest poisons of this universe. Lesson to be learnt is, in our own practice of spiritual life or material life, we may have many, many difficulties. But if we simply hope against hope that someday I'll be able to do some service to Srila Prabhupada, someday I'll be able to do some service to Krishna, let me just maintain my sadhana, let me just maintain my service attitude. If all of us we perform this tapasya, then we can survive the greatest calamities of this material existence. Even now, devotees, when they do Vrindavan Parikrama, just next to the Radha Madan Mohan temple, that tree is still there. Some people need proof whether God exists or not. Go and hug that tree. You will feel the sound vibrations of the lotus feet of Krishna. That is the proof. Many, many yugas that tree has been standing there. Thousands of years that tree has been standing there. Which tree lives for so long? The acharyas say because the tree got the touch of the immortal Lord Krishna, therefore the tree has now become immortal. The spot where Krishna stood on that tree, that spot is also very special. It's in the it's in the shape of a lota. Krishna placed his foot on that pout-like structure coming out of the tree, and from there he jumped into the lake. The description says that the Yamuna was agad, her depth was unfathomable. And Kaliya, doing Jalastambhan Vidya, he had made Jalastambhan Vidya means a kind of knowledge by which you can make solid structures out of water. And he made an entire palace, a city underwater, underneath. And he was staying there with his family members. Although the depths of Yamuna was unfathomable, still when a 5-6-year-old boy jumped inside, waters, they splashed out or over flooded the banks for 100 bow length distance. One bow, imagine Lord Ram standing with the bow in his hand. 100 such bow lengths distance, the water splashed horizontally, and 140 bow length distance, the water went up in the sky. One of the characteristics of Krishna is he does things which are inconceivable. Even in Narsimha Leela, you see, every day we sing. Tava kara kamalavare nakham adbhuta shringam dalita hiranya kashipu tanubhringam keshavadhrita narhari rupa jaya jagadish hare jaya jagadish hare. Tava kara kamalavare. My dear Lord Narsimha, your hands are like as soft as lotus. Kamalavare. But with those lotus-like soft hands, if I hit you with a lotus, how will you feel? Suppose if I hit you with a lotus, how will you feel? Or maro na? You feel like that. Acha lagega. So tava kara kamalavare, hands as soft as lotus. With hands as soft as lotus, tearing apart the stone-like chest of Hiranyakashipu. Inconceivable. So this is the nature of Lord Krishna's pastimes. He does things which are inconceivable. Now, when Krishna, the 6-year-old boy, when he jumped into this Agadha Yamuna lake, which is unfathomable, even demigods are not able to cross over it because of the poison and the width and the depth. That lake has, small boy jumping and then 140 bow lengths, 100 bow lengths, water splashing out here and there. And after that, Krishna started doing an orchestra. He said that he was, how many of you had played Jal Tarang? They put various degrees of water and with that we produce sound. One day I also tried. I took the kartal, not the kartal, the ghanta. I beat the ghanta and I submerged it into a bucket. I saw how the sound changes. Then again beat, then fully submerged, sound changed. 1/4 submerged, sound changed. So acharyas say that Krishna was splashing the water to various heights and producing various musical sound vibrations along with rhythm, sur and tal. Because Krishna had started this pastime, until now the Gandharvas, Yakshas, Kinnaras, they had not come. वो लोग ready नहीं हुआ था अभी तक. So Krishna himself is saying the show has begun. So he's splashing the water and creating various musical rhythms and sound vibrations and various sur and tal. The disciples of Srila Prabhupada quote Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur to say that Krishna is doing all this to make Kaliya realize that someone has entered his territory. Kaliya is there in the deep lakes in the depth of Yamuna, where he cannot be disturbed by anything or anyone. But this kind of disturbance which a 6-year-old boy has produced, the demigods are also able to hear this splashing. It made Kaliya realize that someone powerful, worthy my match, has come in Yamuna. And then as soon as Kaliya saw that, he having the territorial consciousness, कौन है ये जो मेरे area में आ गया है? with great speed, he started rising up in the lake. But the great fortune of Kaliya was that he did proper darshan. As he was coming down, first he saw the lotus feet of Krishna. And then his speed reduced. Wow, so beautiful. Nails are shining like rubies. So soft. So beautiful. Such nice marks. And then again he started rising up. Such nice, effulgent, electric like, dazzling yellow pitambar. I've never seen such a pitambar. Such nice navel. This looks like the source of all creation. Padmanabha. Wow. Shrivatsa sign on the chest. This is the abode of Mother Lakshmi. All Lakshmis reside on this chest. Oh, such a nice, beautiful neck with lines like a conch shell. My God, such nice bluish black hair. Curly, scattered. Such great, beautiful face. Smiling at me? Who is this person? Sanatan Goswami comments at this point that at this point of time, Kaliya lost all his anger. And he didn't know what to do. He was thinking that what is the best thing which I can do to welcome this personality? I don't know anything other than rapping and biting. So let me do it. So he immediately rapped Krishna and bit him 2-3 times. Sanatan Goswami says this was the kiss of Kaliya to Krishna. Krishna allowed this to happen because, as I said, he wanted to intensify the love of separation and the feeling of love and affection which the residents of Vraja had. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, the Rasika Acharya, commented that some of the damsels of Vrindavan who had been recently married and come to Vrindavan, their mother-in-laws had not let them hear and see sufficiently Krishna. And they were preventing them that you don't go outside when this Godhuli Vela happens. People come back after herding their cows. You should not go out at that time to take darshan of Krishna. And when these young damsels, when they would go to fill water here and there, others would be discussing, hey, did you see the lotus feet of Krishna today? It was amazing. Did you see the dhoti? Oh, I'm sorry, I couldn't go above the lotus feet today. Can we find someone who saw the face or something? This kind of discussion used to be happening. So mother-in-laws used to prevent them. Nahi sunna hai so. So Krishna was unhappy. Why this Shravanam and Kirtanam is being interrupted? So he said that let me do a pastime in which all of them should come and they should do nice Shravanam and Kirtanam about me. So one of the primary reasons Krishna did this pastime was to just show off to these young damsels and further deepen the bliss of love of separation of the Vrajvasis. So for few muhurtas, more than one muhurta is 48 minutes, at least more than 48 minutes. Some places it is said 2 hours, some places it said 1 muhurta. For some time, let's take the average, at least for 1 hour, he remained almost unconscious in the wraps of Kaliya. And by this time, the Vrajvasis have come there. They have seen some meteors, signs of meteors, some earth trembling, body trembling. By this time, information has come that, oh, Krishna went without Balram for herding the cows. And they thought, now we are dead because Krishna is also dead. Now, how to find out? This Vrindavan forest is so big. How to find out where is Krishna? Somebody told, find the footprints of Krishna. So footprints of Krishna, they were always conserved. Whenever Krishna would walk on the land of Vrindavan, this was the greatest fortune of Mother Earth. For the devotees who have thoroughly studied first canto, there is a very nice statement there in the first canto that the feeling of separation which Mother Earth had when Krishna left for his Nij Dham, Goloka, was more acute than the personal associates like the queens and the friends of Krishna also. The reason being that the queens and the friends, they were accustomed Krishna going away for 1 month, 2 months, 6 months. Jaake aayenge, kya karenge, jaate rehte hain. But forever, for all these 125 years, Krishna always walked on the earth. So Mother Earth never had even a moment of separation. So Mother Earth was always stunned in ecstasy, getting the touch of the lotus feet of Krishna. So therefore in Vrindavan, when she was at the peak of her fortune, Krishna walking bare feet, so the marks of the footprints of Krishna would remain there. And even the cows and the bulls and the buffaloes and the goats and the sheep and all the other animals, when they would walk in Vrindavan, they would also relish the sign of, just like Akrura relished it, they would also relish and they would not stamp upon it. Just like when Krishna appeared, it is said that the cool breeze which was blowing, carrying the fragrant aroma of the lotus flowers, it made the minds of the Brahmanas very peaceful, and the flames which were ignited, they burnt steadily, undisturbed by the breeze which was flowing. Similarly, the breeze also which was blowing in Vrindavan, that was not unsettling this mark of these lotus feet. Even the cows, they were like, this is the lotus feet. I cannot stamp upon it. I have to walk roundabout. U-turn lena hai. So, finding out the footprints of Krishna, Acharyas say that seeing the footprints of Krishna, they got some relief. That's some connection to Krishna. But at some point of time, the footprints finished. And they are standing in front of the lake. And there is Krishna, wrapped up in the coils of Kaliya. And they don't know what to do. They are asking the boys what had happened. And the boys are unable to say. The cows are simply shedding tears. Some of the cows are just falling down in agony. Nobody knows what to do now. The only person who is not in agony right now is Balram. Because he knows he was not being influenced by this Leela Shakti of Krishna at that time. He knew the personal potency of Krishna and he knew the capability of Krishna. So he was just, don't worry, sab theek ho jayega, sab theek ho jayega. 3 ways or 3 astras he used according to Bhagavatam to pacify people. Astra number 1. Some of the people he charmed just by speaking to them, that don't worry, everything will be okay. And when they got the assurance from Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Balram, they were like, sab theek ho jayega. Another category of people who were not ready to listen, but they were really wanting to, Krishna is there, we have to go and save him. They wanted to enter that poisonous water of Yamuna. He stopped them using his physical strength. And third category of people who were not being able to be restrained, like Sridham and others. Because Sridham used to defeat Balram also in wrestling fight, Krishna also in wrestling fight. Because they used to accept defeat from Sridham. So Sridham was not listening, Nand Maharaj was not listening, not being controlled by the force also. For them, Balram had to smile and charm them. But there was a fourth category of people, like Nand Maharaj and Yashoda. They were like, humko jana hai. We have to go and save Krishna. So to them, Balram started saying that, see, Krishna is there in that lake. Do you remember what Garg Muni said? He said that you will be able to overcome all obstacles because of this boy. Have faith in the statements of Garg Muni. When Krishna will come out, if you go in this water, you will die immediately. If Krishna comes out and finds out his father is dead, how will he feel? No, he will not feel good. Oh yeah, he will not feel good. So therefore, you should not go inside. Okay, we will not go inside. So these were some of the discussions which were happening. But the Bhagavatam describes in detail 7-8 verses. It is beyond my capacity to read and describe those verses to you. Intense pain of separation. Intense. And when Krishna saw that the threshold limit has already been crossed, now these people are just living corpses. They are just like zombies, living bodies. They don't have life in them. Because for them, life is Krishna. They have invested their entire loving propensity in Krishna. Their life is for Krishna. Their livelihood is for Krishna. Their devotional service is for Krishna. Everything is for Krishna. When they saw, they are these people, when Upananda and Nanda Maharaj had decided that let's leave Gokul and go to Vrindavan. These are those people who had been living from generations in Gokul, but they left their ancestral houses, the ancestral property, the land and everything, and just loaded everything on one cart and left in one day. That is their love for Krishna. These people, when Krishna realized that they cannot tolerate anymore, immediately Krishna said to Kaliya, this is mentioned in Garga Samhita, that till now You showed me your prowess. Now it's my turn. Although I'm not someone special, I'm just a cowherd boy, but I'll show you my prowess. And then Krishna started expanding his body, just like he expanded his body inside the mouth of Aghasur. And Kaliya was not able to withhold. The strength was so much that he had to release Krishna. And then, the circus is described how Krishna is. He immediately caught hold of the main hood of Kaliya, bent it down, put his feet upon it, and jumped. And then started moving around, round and round and round. He's moving around. He's not just running, he's jumping from one hood, topsy-turvy, somersault, everything he's doing. And Kaliya is trying to bite him. Oh, missed. Again, another hood, missed. So Kaliya is moving round and round, and Krishna is also moving round and round. After some time, Kaliya becomes tired. That, can you please stay in one place so that I can bite you? Krishna, when he made Kaliya fully tired and exhausted, at that time, on an unstable surface, just touch the surface of your tongue. Similar to that is the surface of the hood of a snake. That too in water, unsteady, unstable. In Hindi, there's a statement, Naach na jane aangan tedha. But here the aangan is tedha also, slippery also, moving also. Krishna decided that from a long time I have not danced. And anyways, sufficient audience has come. Time to show off. So he started dancing very nicely. Somehow the Gandharvas were not fully ready with the orchestra. So you can read in the Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary, he himself was giving beats. Thai, thai, tat, tat, thai. He himself was saying. So then the music started. Because literally after 2-3 verses it is mentioned, the Gandharvas, they started playing kettle drums and all. So this is my understanding, that Krishna is telling, I've started dancing, why are you not playing the music? So he started dancing, and he was maintaining personal eye contact with all the Vrajavasis, especially the young damsels. Look at me how I dance. Dancing became more furious with time. Krishna was personally finding out each and every hood of Kaliya, stamping it, breaking the bones, breaking the strength, releasing the poison of Kaliya. Flowers are being showered, music is being played. In one verse, it is described that the whole atmosphere became so divine, surcharged with transcendental music, transcendental dance, transcendental aroma, and transcendental vision, that for some time everybody forgot what is happening. Everybody was just watching the show, full house. However, the show had to end because Kaliya was getting tired. Kaliya's hoods were marked with the footprints of Krishna. Earlier, the wives of Kaliya, the Nag Patnis, who are glorified in various prayers also. There is a section, Prayers of Nag Patni, very, very philosophical prayers. I will refer to one verse only, which is one of my favorite verses. They were devotees of Lord Krishna. But this Kaliya was not a devotee. So initially when he was being beaten up, they were like, marne do isko, chhod do. Acha hai, mar jaye. But then they thought, look at him. He seems to be surrendering to Krishna now. His strength is lost. His poison is lost. He's folding his hands in front of Krishna. Oh, he's becoming a Bhakti Vriksha member. He's becoming a devotee. Now let's try to save him up. So there are a lot of commentaries are there that how devotees become merciful to other devotees. It was not because of Kaliya only, but because of the Nag Patnis who were devotees of Lord Krishna, that Kaliya also got this special mercy. Krishna was continuing to thump the head of Kaliya. Probably Kaliya would have been, he's the only demon who was not killed in Vrindavan. All the other demons were killed. Kaliya is the only, probably Kaliya would have also died if Nag Patnis wouldn't have interfered. It is said that Nag Patnis, they came in hurry with their children in front. Sab hamare baal bacche hain, sab, please. They give reasons. The first reason they give is that, now he's surrendering to you. Please don't kill him. The unsaid reason is that they are putting their children in front, sir. हमारे बच्चे हैं, sir. Another reason is that if Kaliya is killed, then the other envious snakes will exploit us. We will lose our chastity. So please don't kill Kaliya. And then like that, they give 10 reasons in the prayers. Unfortunately, due to Kali Yuga memory, I don't remember all of them. But very nice. Just like Lord Brahma is giving reasons to Krishna to forgive him in the Brahma Vimohan prayers, or the prayers of Lord Brahma, Lord chapter 14. Similarly, they give very nice reasons. It's for your personal exploration. However, towards the end, they recite a verse which really wins the heart of Krishna. Please repeat with me. Bhavan hi karanam tatra सर्वज्ञो जगदीश्वरः अनुग्रहं निग्रहं वा मनस्य तद्विधेहिनः. They are telling Bhavan hi karanam tatra. My dear Lord Krishna, you are the cause of all causes. Sarvagno Jagadishwaraha. You know everything. What has this Kaliya done to deserve such great fortune? People are aspiring for the dust of your lotus foot. Brahma, Lakshmi, Lord Shiva. He didn't get the dust. He got your lotus feet only. What great activity he has done. Only you know. Sarvagno Jagadishwara. So therefore, anugraham nigraham va. If you decide to punish us, we take it as your mercy. If you decide to reward us, we take it as your mercy. Anugraham nigraham va manasya tad videhina. Do whatever you want. When they say this and when they show this kind of mood, they become pleased. Krishna becomes very pleased. So therefore, in the Kaliya lake, there is an island. Now Krishna jumps on that island. And all the Nagpatnis come to that island. Kaliya also comes to that island. And then Kaliya also offers some prayers. Shorter number of prayers. But basically in the prayers he is saying that, see, I am in this snake's body. By nature I am envious. By nature I am always trying to exploit people. How is it possible that me having a snake body will become devoted to you without your mercy? It's not possible. So you please give me your mercy. The poison has been driven out of my mind. The enviousness, the wretched nature, the fault finding, the deceitfulness, the territorial mentality has all been kicked out of me by your personal presence and personal interference. So now you please give me your mercy, because there is no hope for me other than that. So when Kaliya also presented his mood like that, Lord Krishna said, fine. And then they all got a chance to worship worship Lord Krishna. So the Bhagavatam says they brought very nice, great sandalwood paste. They smeared the body of Krishna, very nice clothes. They wanted to offer some ornaments also, but there was not, it is said that you should offer the best to Krishna. So when Kaliya was thinking, I really don't have anything good enough to offer to Krishna, at that time, Krishna, unseen by anyone, took out his Kaustubh Mani, threw it in the water. And it went inside the treasury of Kaliya. And then Kaliya was thinking what to give to Krishna. Krishna as Paramatma inspired Kaliya. You go back to the treasury. He saw Kaustubh Mani is there. Wow, the best amongst all the jewels. And then he brought and gave something which belonged to Krishna back to Krishna. And then Krishna ordered, henceforth, you should not stay here. Let me read that order. We should hear that order of Krishna. O serpent, you may not remain here any longer. Go back to the ocean immediately, accompanied by your retinue of children, wives, and other relatives and friends. Let this river be enjoyed by the cows and the humans. And after that, he says this verse. Ya etat samsmaren martyas tubhyam mad anu sadsanam kirtayan Ubhayoho sandhyor na yushmad bhayam apunyat. If a mortal being attentively remembers my command to you, which I just said, to leave Vrindavan and go to the ocean, and narrates this account at sunrise and sunset, he will never be afraid of you or any other snake. And there is a commentary which is given here. This is from Vishnu Puran. Basically, I am reading the for those who are wondering what I'm reading from, I'm reading the book written by Bhanu Maharaj, which is the commentary on the 10th canto, translation of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary. It is recommended and devotees can read that. So there Bhanu Maharaj is quoting another verse which says, Yamuna harde hi so yato. This is from Rig Veda. Yo Narayana Vahana Yadi Kalika Dantasya Yadi Kalikad Bhayam Janma Bhumi Paritrato Vivirsho Yati Kalikaha. Garuda, the bird carrier of Lord Narayan, came to visit the lake Yamuna. One no longer fear the bites of Kaliya or his deadly poison. The Lord protects Vrajbhumi. The Lord who protects Vrajbhumi has made Kaliya harmless. So it is said that anybody who recites this mantra, he will be protected from all kinds of snakes, sarpadoshas, and fear. And my personal understanding is that the snake charmers, they chant this mantra from Rig Veda. So I think we should frame it up and put it where there are snake infested areas. Just recite this verse of Bhagavatam daily and you are safe. So, and in that way he goes back to the Fiji island, that is the Ramanaka Dweep. In all the places where there are ISKCON temples, we have Radha Krishna deities. ISKCON Fiji is the only temple of ISKCON where there is Kaliya Krishna deities. There is no Radha Krishna deity. Literally, there is the Kaliya deity made out of black marble, Krishna dancing on him, and some Nagpatnis praying. And in that temple, they do Mangalarti and all the prayers to that deity only. I was reading some conversation where Prabhupada has confirmed that yes, Kaliya is still there in the Fiji Islands. Devotees were asking, how can you say that? So Prabhupada asked, are there any other snakes, predators or big animals in Fiji? They said no. That means Kaliya is there. This is the two-line conversation where Prabhupada has confirmed. So this was in brief the entire Kaliya Leela. And after this, the Bhagavatam says that because Krishna has been anointed by the sandalwood paste and nice dress, doesn't look good if he becomes again wet. So Krishna starts walking on water. He walks on the Yamuna with only his feet touching the Yamuna. So when the feet touches the Yamuna, all the poison goes away and the sandalwood untouched and everything untouched, little bit water splash here and there. He comes out and then Nand Maharaj catches him, Yashoda mother catches him, everybody embraces them one by one. And then Mother Nand Maharaj is asking a question that, I have one question for you. Did Kaliya pull you in the water or did you jump yourself? So that is another thread which continues. And then they take rest on the Yamuna river only, banks of Yamuna river, Yamuna lake. And then forest fire number 1 comes there. There are 2 forest fires. Forest fire number 1, forest fire number 2. So forest fire number 1 comes there and then the discussion continues. However, can I take another 5 minutes for describing the anartha which Kaliya represents? Because that is a very important lesson which we need to derive. So I'm reading from Chaitanya Shikshamrita. Kaliya, the huge multi-headed serpent, represents pride, deceit, harm towards others, unkind crookedness, enviousness, and malicious cruelty that devotees must give up. So this is the anarthas. And what is the rectification of this anartha? So basically Kaliya represents that cunning, envious, malice and cruelty. Such qualities have no place in the realm of Vraja Bhakti or devotional service as guided by Srila Prabhupada. There is no place for all that. However, sincere devotees of Lord Krishna, they cannot see this fault in others. They don't see any fault in others. So if somebody, due to past conditioning, has this Kaliya mentality, devotees will not be able to find out. And that not fully pure practicing devotee may be continuing to have this Kaliya mentality and may be causing trouble to others. And he may be undetected by other devotees also. However, even if the devotees see only good, But Krishna will come in the right time and chastise and expose such a devotee. Krishna will give mercy to such a devotee by giving suffering to that devotee. However, the devotee, the practicing devotee who has this Kaliya Anartha, due to enviousness, he will fight back. When Krishna will try to personally administer some mercy in his life, he will fight back. But ultimately, Krishna will win. And the devotees will ultimately come to rescue. When this devotee will be losing faith in Krishna himself, just like Nagpatnis came to rescue Kaliya, the other devotees will come and rescue and will pray for such a devotee and make him peaceful in the practice of Krishna consciousness. The lessons which we can learn here are, those who are envious, they will always try to pollute the atmosphere of Krishna consciousness. But in time, slowly they will pollute devotees. They will tell, Prabhupada didn't tell you everything. They'll pollute the whole atmosphere. They'll make things uncomfortable. Slowly, one day, their offense will go on increasing. One day, they'll make a direct attack on Krishna, just like Kaliya did. We must use our intelligence to serve Krishna and not such an anartha. Such devotees may have a lot of charisma, good communication skills and knowledge, but these are not necessarily the signs of devotion. Envy can be disguised as devotion and is very hard to detect sometimes. But Krishna will always come in the right time, at the right spot, to protect his devotees against such an envious practitioner of Krishna consciousness. Krishna will not allow such things to happen. And he will do some pastime which will not only expose such a devotee, but will also increase the love amongst others. When I say such things, this reminds me of some incidents which happened in ISKCON, via which ISKCON as a society became more mature. What is the punishment? Krishna will sufficiently protect and give mercy to such a devotee. But the punishment, the ultimate punishment is banishment from Vrindavan. Such a devotee loses the association of other devotees by the will of Krishna. So therefore it is very, very necessary to pray to Krishna. Krishna will give us mercy. He will allow us to chant his rounds. But he will not give us the association of other devotees. Just like Kaliya, he got the mercy, but he was banished from Vrindavan. He was not allowed to stay in Vrindavan. So therefore, from my heart, I should really, really hanker that I should not fall in the category of such a devotee. Srila Prabhupada wrote very nicely one letter which highlights how to overcome this critical tendency. See, non-enviousness is appreciated by Krishna and it is a certain sign of advancement. What is this 9th chapter, 1st verse? My dear Arjuna, because you are never envious of me, that's why I shall impart you this most confidential knowledge. Bhakto sime sakha cheti rahasyam hyetaduttama. Even Krishna appreciates this non-envious quality. Nectar of Instruction, Shloka number 5 also says, one should mentally honor the devotee who chants the holy name of Lord Krishna. One should offer humble obeisances to the devotee who has undergone spiritual diksha and engaged in worshipping the deity. And one should associate with and faithfully serve the pure devotee who is advanced in undeviated devotional service and whose heart is completely devoid of the propensity to criticize others. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, such a devotee is non-envious. So how to overcome this critical tendency? I found 2 references which are like direct instructions from Prabhupada. First is a letter written to Atreya Rishi, a disciple. Please accept my blessings. I am in due receipt of your very nice letter of January 10th, 1972, and I am very much pleased by the sentiments expressed therein. It is not so much that because there may be some faults in our God brothers and God sisters, or because there may be some mismanagement or lack of cooperation, that this is due to being impersonalists. No. It is the nature of the living condition to always have some fault. Even in the spiritual world, there is some fault and envy. Sometimes the gopis will quarrel over Krishna's favor. And once Krishna was so much attracted to Radharani that by mistake he tried to milk the bull instead of the cow. And sometimes when the gopis used to put their dress and makeup for seeing Krishna, they would be too much hasty to smear kumkum and mascara in the wrong places. Prabhupada is saying there is some fault everywhere. But these are transcendental faults. There are so many examples, but it is not the same as material fault or material envy. Now, I would request everybody's attention. It is transcendental because it is all based on Krishna. Sometimes when one gopi would serve Krishna very nicely, the others would say, "Oh, she has done so nicely. Now let me do better for pleasing Krishna." That is envy. But it is transcendental without malice. So we shall not expect that everywhere in the material world, even in the society of ISKCON. That is utopia. Rather, that is impersonalism. People should not expect that even in the Krishna conscious society there will be utopia. Because devotees are persons, therefore there will always be some lacking. But the difference is that they're lacking because they have given up everything to serve Krishna, money, jobs, reputation, wealth, big educations, everything. Their lackings have become transcendental because despite everything they may do, their topmost intention is to serve Krishna. One who is engaged in devotional service, despite the most abominable action, is to be considered saintly because he is rightly situated. The devotees of Krishna are the most exalted persons on this planet, better than the kings, all of them. So we should always remember that, like bumblebee, always look for the nectar of the best qualities of the devotee. Not like utopians who are like flies, who always go to find open sores and find faults in a person because they cannot find any utopia or because they cannot find anyone without faults. They want to become void, merge with nothing. They think that is the utopia. To become void of personality. So if there is sometimes slight disagreements between devotees, this is not due to impersonalism, but it is because they are persons, and such disagreements should not be taken very seriously. The devotee is always pessimistic about this material world, but he is very optimistic about spiritual life. So in this way, you should consider that anyone who is engaged in Krishna's service is always the best person, and give up your enviousness against him. In another place, Srila Prabhupada is telling, Srila Prabhupada, how to give up this enviousness? One word answer, preach. Did you understand? No, Prabhupada. The Paramahamsas, the Vaishnavas, Prabhupada is continuing. The Paramahamsas, the Vaishnavas, they are very kind, they are merciful. This fallen soul is suffering for the want of Krishna. Let us preach to him. That is the difference between envious and non-envious. That is Paramahamsa. Titikshavaha karunikaha. They are not only not envious, but they are merciful. They'll suffer so many troubles for their preaching work. Still, they'll do that. Titikshava. A preacher has to suffer so many inconveniences. A preacher has hope of becoming non-envious. So this is the instructions from Prabhupada how a practicing devotee, if such a practicing devotee is suffering from this Kaliya consciousness. So with this, I would like to end today's discussion. I'm very, very grateful that I got a chance to glorify Krishna, the Nagpatnis, Kaliya, the Brajavasis, the whole pastime of Krishna, the anartha which it represents, the history, and the way in which we can rectify this anartha. Ultimately, one has to pray to Guru, one has to pray to Krishna, because only Krishna can subdue Kaliya. Only Krishna can chastise Kaliya, and only Krishna can order Kaliya to go away. So until Krishna does not desire for that to happen to us, until Govinda Ichha doesn't happen, nobody can give up this Kaliya mentality. So we should sufficiently cry for Krishna and pray to Krishna Repeat the prayers of Kaliya, repeat the prayers of Nagpatnis, in which we can be able to get that mercy of Krishna. If we are unable to do that, we will be counted amongst the devotees, but we will be thrown out of Vrindavan. We will be thrown out of the association of devotees. So, with that strong warning to myself, I would like to end today's discussion. I would not like to take any questions now because it is already time up. Thank you very much. Wishing all of you a very, very happy Ekadashi. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, गौर भक्त वृंद की जय, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. हरे कृष्ण. Someone needs to end.